Welcome back to another episode of Pregame Twirl. Today, huge guest, Caeden Herrington, just drafted by the LA Kings in the fourth round, obviously going into UVM this fall. Harry Styles, that's his nickname. Okay, I'm gonna make it viral in Cat Nation this fall. Styles, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Let's get right to it. Obviously, less than a week ago, you were drafted in the fourth round by LA. Give us your draft story. Obviously, the draft this year, which, by the way, I'm curious. I'll ask you this: did you like the setup of the draft this year?
I wasn't a huge fan. A lot of buddies that I had that were there said it was tough. Like I think they got to go back to where like the teams are there. Like it brings more fan. Like the place was empty. Like as
I
kids didn't pick, the place was empty.
I
Like
know, and like it was unbelievable that James Hagan's got drafted by Happy, but it's like it would be better for those guys got so much money. Like why are those guys not there giving, you know what I mean? Like it
yeah,
would the Zoom call, like that just doesn't do it. That doesn't make the moment special. They for sure got to go back to it. But give us your draft story. Where were you? Did you have a good idea that LA was in the mix? Just kind of tell us how you figured out that you were drafted by LA.
yeah. No, I mean, kind of a weird situation just because I didn't get picked up last year, so I was like very hesitant. Like I wasn't even gonna watch. Didn't really know like what was going to happen. Obviously, it kind of like, it's not really in your control on that day. It's a lot of us like to consider it the longest day in hockey just because you're sitting there all day waiting and waiting. And I did that the year before and then not getting picked. It was just kind of like, all right, well, I sat here for 6 hours for no reason. So this year, I didn't really have like a draft party or anything. I kind of just went out to breakfast with my parents, hung out during the day. I actually was making a quesadilla in the kitchen and I got a call from LA, and it was Andy Johnson, who was like one of their head scouts, kind of like the guy that was probably my biggest advocate. Really good dude, and so that was kind of the first call, and then obviously I talked to the GM and stuff. But yeah, it was. It's a cool moment, right? There's a lot of people that have helped you get to this point, and my parents obviously were massive. My siblings, Weeds at UVM, and there's a lot of people that play into that role. So it's definitely like an emotional moment for sure. Something you dream of as a little kid. Obviously, you dream of playing in the NHL, but it's definitely a moment you think about. So it was really cool, and I was really grateful for the opportunity.
Now you talked about your first year you didn't get drafted. Would you say you used that? I mean, Styles, you had 17 spikes from the back end in the U show this year. Did you
Yeah,
use that as a little motivation going into this year?
definitely. Yeah, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't. Like, I mean, it sucked. Like, you always have people in your ear, and I try to avoid it. But like last year, I had a ton of people in my ear, telling me you're gonna get drafted. Like this is gonna happen, and it doesn't happen. I think it's definitely a piece of humble pie for sure. Like I was like, yeah, like you aren't that good. Like there's a lot of work to be done, and there always is. But I think it was definitely for me. Like it was definitely a turning point where like I very vividly remember being on the phone with Weeds and like being like, yeah, I got a lot to work on. And then that kind of just motivated and pushed me throughout the summer. And then I ended up having a really good year. Obviously, our team in Lincoln was loaded. We had a ton of talent, a ton of really good players, a good coaching staff. So like that definitely made it easier too. But no, it was, it was a good year.
Now, obviously, last year you went to development camp in Smashville, so it wasn't your first time around the merry-go-round with dev camps. But talk to us about how obviously you're coming back. You got a little tan going, Styles. So
I
talk a
do.
little bit about talk a little bit about dev camp and how that went, and how what was the weather like in LA?
It's LA, Woody, right? You can't beat it. I mean, it was like 75 and sunny every day. You come home and it's raining half the days of the week. So
Yeah.
no, it was awesome. The people there are great. Obviously, inside the organization, like getting to hang out with like Drew Doughty, Andre Kempe, like guys that have done it. And I mean, Drew Doughty's a Hall of Famer. Like, just kind of picking those guys' brains, and obviously, you get to see some really high level hockey, some high level talent. So it was a ton of fun. I actually got to be out there with one of my best friends who got invited to camp, Jack McCarr. We played out in Lincoln. We grew up together, so we hit Manhattan Beach a couple of days, actually every day. We didn't miss a beat. So it was a ton of fun. I mean, it was a tough week, but it was good.
Yeah, what was your schedule like? Like, what'd you guys? How long was it? 3 days?
Yeah, so it was kind of like um it was weird because after I got picked, I they wanted me on a flight as soon as possible, but because I live in the middle of nowhere, I drove down to Boston. So almost like 30 minutes after I got picked, I loaded up the car and I drove down to Boston, stayed with a buddy. I left at like 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, flew out to LA, got in at like 9. And then like the whole day was like forms, medical forms, like getting your gear, getting all the gear and stuff. And then I mean, that was like a 24-hour day. And then Monday and Wednesday were kind of like your bagger days. So you skate twice. So like they split it up forward D do their D skates, forwards do the forward skates. You flip flop while the other team's skating. You're working out, you're doing testing, and then like some meetings, just like social media meetings, nutritional meetings, and then scrimmage in the afternoon. But yeah, it's nice. Everything's in one place. I mean, LA's, you should see their facility. It's insane. Like the amount of money that's pumped into that place is nuts between like, the underwater treadmills and like, just like the hot tubs, like even the showers are nice. Like, so, I mean,
Good.
being there it was sick. So yeah.
Now, how was the flight there? I mean, it's a 6 hour flight, and I've been to LA before. I went to San Jose, dude. Terrible flyer. I was legit just shaking the whole way there. It's a tough flight.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure Woody, me and you both got a little ADHD. We play hockey, so
Yeah.
it's a tough to sit still. Like I kept standing up, stretching, like my back was killing me on the flight there. So like I even like the plane was huge. So on the way there, I like sat down like on the floor and started like banging out some stretches by the bathroom.
Yeah.
It like kind of keep my body moving because my back was killing me.
Well, little story for you. You talked about how you got drafted and you had to leave the next day. So this was almost 3 years ago now. My buddy was getting drafted, and obviously I live in St. Albans. The draft was in Montreal, and I'm a huge Habs fan. This is the year they were going number one. They end up getting Slavkovsky, but I end up going, and one of my buddies, his gear, he brought his gear with him because he knew he was realistically probably going to development camp the
Yeah,
next day. So he brought it with him. And Montreal, like stealing, like it's insane there. And someone broke into his car, like stole all of his gear. So he had to go to the Windy City in Chicago with no gear. Like they gave him all gear, like all new gear. But
yeah.
like it was insane. But talk about what you guys do. So I went to the last day of the HAV Dev Camp, watching just LJ Mooney just scoot around, just a
Yeah.
water bug out there. But they played 4-on-4 the whole time. They didn't play any 5v5. The hitting wasn't really up, so it like benefited LJ Mooney's game. But like, what'd you guys do? Did you guys do 4v4 the whole time, or did you guys
No,
get some 5v5?
we actually did like we scrimmaged 3 times. We scrimmaged Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and like two of the scrimmages were like 5-on-5. Like guys were like going hard, like which is it makes sense. Like guys are competing. Like some guys there are trying to make LA next year, so like they're trying to put on a good impression before they leave for the summer. And like no, guys were throwing bodies. Like guys were getting blown up at center ice. Like it was like 5-on-5 for 25 minutes and then 4-on-4 for 25. But it was high pace. It was competitive. It was fun. Like definitely like throwing you in the fire a little bit because you don't play games for 2 months and all of a sudden you're out there with some of the best players in the world going
Yeah.
going hand in hand. But no, it was yeah, it was fun. It was a ton of fun. Like I said, the guys, it's like you get to that level and the kids they can all compete. They're all really highly skilled and talented. Like you said, like LJ Mooney, like that kid's nasty. Like if you give that kid space and time, he's gonna make a play. So
Yeah, and it's a perfect experience for you. Obviously, we're going to transition into some exciting stuff. You going into UVM this fall, so definitely a good experience. But obviously, you've had yourself a summer. I mean, you got drafted fourth round, and now you being a hometown boy, you're heading into your local college, UVM. So just talk about how special it is to be able to throw on a UVM sweater. And we both know, like, I talked about it when Coach Weeds came on, like UVM, like Vermont, we don't have much around here. Like
Yeah.
that's our pro sports team. So like everyone knows like how special it is when you're a hockey player, just an athlete in general. You want to play at UVM,
Yeah.
any Vermont athlete. So just talk about how special it is going into UVM this fall.
Hold up. Did you play hockey at Skidmore?
Yeah.
No shit. Yeah,
Isn't that where your old man went there?
my
Yeah.
pop played there.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta tell him that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I used to go to all the games growing up. I loved it.
In Toga?
Yeah, they're like an hour away.
Yeah.
Did they do they used to do like the whiteout when you were there?
Yeah.
What year were you there?
I was there I started like 3 years ago. So I was there for 2 years. I got done a little early.
Yeah. You were there freshman, sophomore year.
Yes.
So did you play Norwich in 21? Or were you there? Were you not there?
No. I got there 22.
I mean, I think. Dude, were you playing in that game?
I was playing in the Witch game, but I don't know if I was
there.
Were you?
I was running around like I was like 15 years old. Hold up. I think I have a photo and you're in it. I think
That's legendary.
You're in it.
Well, that Witch game, I actually I brought like 200 people there. It was a home game for me.
21. I was 21.
21.
With like it was in warm-ups and I was like taking a selfie for my dad. And I could have sworn it said like I thought it was your last name, but I guess no, it was 21, so it wouldn't have been you.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, back to what I was saying. Oh, I lost where we were. I had to.
Yeah, I was just mentioning. Listen, obviously you've had a great big summer. It's exciting as it gets between getting drafted and now you're a hometown boy playing for UVM. So just talk about how special it is.
Yeah, no, like I mean, every kid grows up in Vermont playing hockey, want to play for UVM, right? Like you want to play at the gut. I think, obviously, you know they were really good for a lot of years, and they had a couple of down years, and then Wheeler's kind of revived the program. I'd say the last 3 years, even though I don't think that the standings necessarily show how much he's done. Like just with the guys he's brought in, like there's a ton of elite players there right now. And Hockey East is tough too. Like they've lost a lot of 1 or 2 goal games. Like they've been right there every year. And for me, and I think just for the people in general, I think that's exciting because you can tell that there is something brewing there. And you know, like I said, being a little kid from Manchester, Vermont, like growing up watching my dad coach state championship high school games to the gut, like I always wanted to play there. I always, you know, kind of envisioned myself playing there. So it's definitely a full circle moment when I get up there. I mean, I can't wait to put the jersey on and you know, be able to play in front of people in Vermont. And you know, you're playing for something bigger than yourself, really. And it's exciting. And I think that we're gonna have a good team. And I think we're on the come up for sure.
Oh, for sure. And they last year, I mean, they swept UMass at home.
Yeah.
UMass ended up making the tournament. It's just like you said, standing wise, it really like everyone, like Northeastern, they played on the road their whole run in Hockey East, and they were because Hockey East is so loaded, which every team's like just about every team's top 20. So you put together 5 wins in Hockey East, like you could have 3 top 10 wins, which obviously helps you in the rankings. But yeah, Coach Weeds has done a tremendous job. Every year the team is getting better, and it's awesome to see. But also to mention, like, it's not just you, like a lot of, you know, you got PJ, you know, that you're sharing this experience with. There's some other young players that are committed. So just talk about how special it is to share that with other Vermonters as well.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I don't really know PJ very well just because he was in Michigan for a lot of his kind of like teenage days. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to meet him. And I think, you know, I see like some of the younger guys. I think it's Sully Martin and who's the other kid? The forward from
Jackson Smale.
Like that's exciting too, right? Because I'm like, all right, here comes the next wave. Here comes the next generation. I think, you know, like that should be exciting for all kids in Vermont, especially at the younger ages too, because like we're all trying to pave the path, right, and pave the way. And I think that Vermont hockey it's not a big hockey hotbed, but like that you can do it and you can make it out, and there are resources throughout the state. And I think that, like, you know, Vermont's full of ponds in the winter, right? Kids got to get out there, and like I want more than anything, like I just want Vermont hockey to grow. And I think from the organization standpoint, and just from like Vermont Hockey Association in general, like I want as many kids as possible being able to get to play the sport that we all love to play. And it's just awesome seeing growth, like with the Vermont Junior Catamounts, and you know, like what Pavlik's doing with the Flames. And I think it's all exciting. And I think at the end of the day, right, I'm super fortunate to be able to play hockey at Vermont, but just to see the kind of the growth in the state throughout just the youth ages is really exciting to see.
Yeah, no, it's in a great spot, and actually, you sneaky fun fact for you. Do you know you're not the only Vermonter to get drafted by the LA Kings?
Yeah, it was Martin, right? He was the other.
Justin Martin got drafted by LA Kings. But just to what you're, talking about, obviously Vermont typically, most guys after high school, they get done playing, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
But it's a very small pond, and you're a guy that has played Vermont hockey. You went on, put up men's league stats at Holderness. You moved on to the next level, and now you're drafted, going to play for UVM, our local pro sports team. So just talk about what advice would you give to Vermont players? Again, you're a guy that's been through the process and kind of has experienced a lot that kids around here don't experience. So just talk about what advice you would give to kids.
yeah. I think it's tough, right? Like you're like you said, kind of like it's not a huge hockey hotbed, right? Like there's not a ton, like there's not rinks everywhere you look, right? There's only so many rinks in the summer that have summer ice. Like I don't have summer ice rink within an hour and a half of me, right? So like it's going to take a lot from within, right? You got to get creative. Like you're going to have to play a ton of roller hockey. You're going to have to get out after it in the summers, you know, shooting pucks in your garage, and just kind of mixing up ways, you know, getting on the ladder, getting in the gym when you're younger. Like my biggest suggestion to kids that are younger is find buddies and play as much as you can. And it doesn't have to be on the ice. Like I played so much roller hockey growing up, just like being out in the garage, like shooting so many pucks. Like, yeah, I think I'd also stress the importance that, like, you know, being a multi-sport athlete too. Like we grow up in a state that everything's outdoors. Go play baseball, go play football, go play golf, you know, be creative. I think that's like one of the biggest pieces of advice is just be an athlete, right? Like a lot of kids that are playing hockey all year round at 8, 9, 10 years old, they're getting burned out when they're 15 anyways. So I'd say, like, honestly, I think my biggest piece of advice is be an athlete until you're 10 or 11 or 12. And then if you really want to pursue it, then that's when you start to take bigger steps. That's when you're doing a ton of summer camps, and you're doing a ton of skills thing. You're kind of looking at the growth of your game, what needs development. But I'd say just, you know, if you're really passionate about it, I'd say stick to it, be consistent, and be an athlete, right? Like take pride in doing other sports and playing them and being competitive. Like if you can do that, I think anyone eventually can make it. So.
Now, obviously, you said that you're going to UVM to start your summer training there, but where have you been skating so far this summer since you got back from the U show?
I took a month off.
I
Uh,
love that.
I got back from Lincoln. I took a month off. I put the bag away. Rusted. The zipper was getting rusted, so I had to pull that thing off in like beginning of June. So I was driving over to New York twice a week, my first 2 weeks, and then I went up to school for a week. Was up there, and then at Dev Camp. So then I go up to UVM next week, and then out to Minnesota. So
Now, you played for your youth, you played for the Dynamo, right?
yeah,
So how far are you from Clifton Park?
hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, my parents made the haul. Like
Wow.
my career path was kind of nuts. Like I played single A until I was 12. Won a couple single A state championships with my buddies back home. Still some of my favorite memories. And then I went up to Hanover, New Hampshire, which was an hour and a half away. They had like a triple A elite team when I was like 13. I think I was 12. I was 12. And so I was in sixth grade, and every day after school, I get in the car, drive an hour and a half there, hour and a half back, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. and then playing games on the weekend. I did that for 2 years. And then I think my 13U, 14U year, my first year at Bantam, I went over to Clifton Park, and for 3 years, kind of during that COVID era, I was driving over there hour and 20, hour and 30. And so I did that for 3 years, and then I was finally like, Mom, Dad, like I can't. I know you guys can. I know I can't do the driving anymore. Like, this is nuts. Like, we're doing 3 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week. Like, it was tough. So it was kind of time to find a place and settle down and then just call it home. So it's kind of
and just like we were talking about, we mentioned youth hockey in Vermont. That's another, I mean, again, such a small pond, not a lot of rinks, not a lot of team. I mean, there's only a couple teams that, are travel hockey teams, and that's, the Flames and the Junior Cats. It's the same thing for me. Like, yeah, I only had a half-hour track to practice to go to Carnes.
Yeah.
But like I basically live in Canada, living in St. Albans.
Yeah.
So like that's adding to my ride to Boston, where it's like 4 hours every weekend.
Well, yeah, and like I was like just on the brink too. Like, if I had lived a little bit closer to Burlington, I probably would have gone up there. But like, I'm in the woods. Like, I'm in the woods. Like, Manchester is like, you go 5 miles in any which direction, you are in the mountains. So like, it was kind of like that made it tougher, because I think if I lived in like Rutland or Woodstock, I would have just shot up to Burlington and played for one of those teams. But I mean, it worked out the way it did. So I can't.
Absolutely. The last question I'll leave you with, obviously heading into your freshman year at UVM, we talked about how special it's going to be. I'm excited to watch you. What number are you, by the way?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
Let's
call up Weeds right now. We need a number.
I think I'm wearing 2, but
2.
Because I think Eli Barnett wore 2, but he's leaving. So I think I'm wearing 2. Unless a kid is changing in 2, then I don't know. So,
yeah. But just talk about, obviously, it's going to be a special year. Every Vermonter is excited to watch you play, especially after the recent news of you getting drafted by LA. But just talk about, what's your mindset going into your freshman year?
Yeah, I think like being a good teammate, right? I'm going to be the only teenager on the team. So I think like knowing, my role and being a good guy in the team. Obviously, I want to have a big year. I want to be able to produce a ton and, be a big asset to the team, play a ton of minutes. But I also think, like, I understand too, like, we got a really good team. We got a bunch of good players. And I think just, being a good teammate, being a good dude around campus, and, kind of finding my role in the team and playing that to the best of my ability is all I can really do, and control what I can control, and, see how the cards play out. Like I said, I think our UVM team is going to be really deep, and we can make a run and shock some people this year. So I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Hey, Harry Styles, I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm fired up to watch you, but really appreciate you coming on. Obviously, you're a big face in Vermont hockey right now, and everyone's excited to watch you play at UVM. So I know things get busy in Manchester, especially fresh off the LA trip, but